So right, where do I begin with this one? So this morning has been hugely profound of how to be the mother of my inner child. And I'll share with you through trauma that happened to me when I was about 4. And it was very visceral. There wasn't really conscious memory of it, but there were many signs that were showing me that there was abuse when I was young. And I would always be taken to a scene in my bedroom, but could never fully connect. And I've always seen that that's because it was going to be too traumatic for me to connect to, and this is what the body's done. It's shut it off as a way of protection for myself. There's also a point of how the child would not have understood it, and so the adult brain can't access that because the child brain hasn't understood. And I've always felt like there was a barrier between me and that younger self, that little part of me who I've been trying to reach through all the different practices that I have been doing, but it was always been held. And a little while ago, I remember seeing my pop, my granddad, holding that child in his arms, and I could see that he was protecting her and holding her. So that gave great comfort for me. But whenever I tried to hold her, she wouldn't stay. She wouldn't come. She wouldn't stay with me. And since doing the Daughters of the Golden Rose, this container that I was guided to do, as well with a beautiful friend, Rachel Maria Bow, to really give me the courage to go into alignment of what felt true, but not really knowing what. You think you're doing it for others, but actually you're doing it for yourself first, and that's always the healing journey. As much as you want to help others, it's you help yourself first. And I realize I've had to go through this experience myself to be able to share and to come out and guide people into this container when they're ready. The last few weeks have been about safety, bringing inner safety into my body. And I've always known that there's a part of me that wouldn't surrender, that wouldn't quite let go. It's like a really hard string in the neural system. It's like, no, we're not letting go. No matter how much you try and push through this, it is not letting go. And these last few weeks, it has. And I have softened, I have cried, I have felt that inner safety, I have felt that ability to soften in trust and surrender, and to know that I'm held, to know that I'm supported and loved in many forms beyond the physical. And this morning, so this would be also my bleed as well, so this is about how the letting go, the point of surrendering. This is why our menstrual health is so important, and stillness and space when we're in these cycles, not in the way the patriarchal system has us pushing ourselves and plugging it up and cracking on. We have to really take rest and stillness as a necessity, not a luxury. And this morning has just been deep surrender, and my inner child came to me, which is huge. It's kind of like the only way I can experience it, and I can feel myself welling up now, I've just done my mascara, so is a mother's grief for her child she's lost, but that grief is for self, and the grief and the joy that kind of merged together, that joy of reunion. And you know what, my pop was holding her, and he in spirit has been protecting her, and I've come to realize that my body wasn't safe for her to be in. My anger my fear that was deep in my unconscious body, her spirit couldn't be in there. And through doing this work, that true softening, that true safety that I have created within myself from doing this 12-week container and all the 4 years of like really sort of self-reflection, but it's not just that, this is like being the pinnacle part of it, but feels like the final, not final, it's like the endings for the new beginnings, if you know what I mean, never finishes. But it's just completion and consolidation for me, and to be able to get and to reconnect to this part of self that has been separated and hasn't been accessible just through will. It's had to come through softening and creating that safety within me. I've just been crying. Crying, grieving, crying just because my body needs to release, like just to give yourself permission to be still and to rest. It's just the whole neural system will just go and release, off it goes. So, you know, a lot of that is there's just ownership of those tears and of those emotions, to let it flow, because I know that's what my body needs to let go. It's not so much grief and pain. And then having my inner child connect with me, yes, there was grief and pain there as well. You know, her pain, her shock, her, you know, yeah, just disillusioned of it all, and just being able to witness and reconnect to her. And, you know, the only way I can say it's like through meditation, you can see each other's eyes connect. And that's where our soul is, and our heart, and it's the gateway to the heart and the soul. And it's like you remember through that eye contact. It's like that oneness that happens. And this is the return of our innocence, our purity. This is about that part of self that couldn't quite be in the physical body, is now being reintegrated. And my pop's still with me, and there was also that deep knowing that you're not alone. And you know, to know that in spirit, my pop's there, holding my inner child, protecting her. Pretty intense, right? So I've just been processing all of that, and what can I say? We shall see where this all leads. But the other day I had my pop whispering in my ears, going earth up, Gem, as in like you can't avoid anything, because when you connect into this power, you think, oh my god, this 3D world is so freaking hard at times, it's so hard. And it's like, no, you got to go deep, you got to get your roots and be really in the physical and raise the frequency up. And this feels like I've had to do this for my inner child too, because she's been lost and not quite ghosted, but just she's not even in physical. And I've had to reclaim her, and I've had to do that by going really deep into my body, into my neural system, right into the roots, and creating pure safety for her to return. And so this feels like a part of self is returning. And I will see where this leads, but it feels like a huge completion. The circle that came up with one of the last meditation of Daughters of Golden Rose, is where it's that cycle. It's continuous, but it's like it's gone through one cycle, now I'm just moving. So it's the end for the new beginnings. So I just wanted to share that with you. And this is huge work when you bring back safety back into your body. If you've experienced trauma, and we all have in one degree and level, and being able to hold that space and nurture your body. And I've done it through listening to different music and just honoring myself and my body, and rocking and holding and crying, and whatever I needed to do, I just honored that. And that being able to honor what you need is also about bringing in safety, not denying it and pushing it through, just resting. That is building safety, when you honour what you know, what you need, and you listen to your body, rather than the push on the adrenals, just constantly pushing through, which is what we're conditioned to do, and that's not what we're meant to be doing. So anyway, lots of love, and if this is resonating with you, you're welcome to come and join the Telegram group for Daughters of the Golden Roses. There's no push, there's no sales. This is purely women that need to be within help by other women, and to share the journey that we're all going through in our own ways. You can come into that and just be present in there, that's no problem. And naturally people will start to be sharing what they're doing on the container, and it maybe feel like something that you want to do at some point, but there's no pressure, there's no rush. This is about bringing women back together as they go through this deep beautiful healing. So, and returning to themselves, returning to earth, returning to the power of just claiming it all back. So lots of love and take care.